Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the R&D session number 8. My name is Alexandre Neto and I'm from EDP New. And welcome again to this new session. Today's session will be focused on smart grids and centered on the final customers. And we have a great session today. It's our eighth session, as I said. We have started in June, and I just wanted to say that the next session, it will be in 2 weeks, and it will be focused on some of our initiatives related to the hydrogen and green hydrogen. So I encourage you to come next time. But still, for today, our session, we will briefly present the area of smart grids in EDP New, our research center, and then we'll be presenting the DOMINOES project, where we are part we have also the participation today of a guest, Luisa Matos from BPS, and my colleague Eduardo Rodrigues will present the DOMINOES project. And then we will have also the InteGrid project presented by my colleague Manuel Pio, and with participation of also my colleague André Neves from EDP Distribuição. And we'll finalize the session with a round table presented and moderated by my colleague Gisela Mendes, and with participation of again Luisa Matos from BPS, Ricardo André from EDP Distribuição, and Pedro Coimbra Costa from EDP Comercial. So this will be a great session. I will leave the floor now to Gisela Mendes, my colleague, to present you a little bit the area of interoperable smart energy grids. Go ahead, Gisela.
Thank you, Alexandre, and welcome everyone. Very briefly, EDP New is organized in 5 knowledge areas, being interoperable smart energy grids one of them. That is the focus of today R&D sessions. The other areas are positive energy communities, renewable energy sources technologies, renewables integration and flexibility, and digital energy. So, as I said, today the focus will be the smart grids, very briefly, our area aims to develop R&D projects that support EDP on keeping in the front of smart grids development. For this, we have selected 5 main topics of interest. So I'm still seeing the previous slide. I'm not sure if you are already seeing the next one. But our areas of interest in this area are the infrastructures and interoperability, all related with the data from grid, also the tools to manage and operate the grid, and last but not least, we are also focusing the regulation and business models. Currently, we have 4 projects in our area. Well, InteGrid is already closed, but we are going to present it today together with DOMINOES. And we are also participating in the Interconnect project. It's about interoperable solutions connecting smart homes, buildings, and grids. We are, in this case, a third party of EDP Distribuição. And we are going also to kick off a new project next week. It's the INURAN project, which has the main goal of developing innovative tools for the optimal design and operation of local energy communities, integrating distributed energy resources and multiple energy carriers. In this project, we are responsible for the Portuguese demo, at the private distribution grid of the Lisbon naval base. So with no further delays, I pass the words to my colleague, Eduardo Rodrigues, so he can present the DOMINOES project. Thank you.
Thank you, Gisela. Hello, and welcome to the R&D sessions. My name is Eduardo Rodrigues. I work at EDP New, and I will introduce you one of the projects we are working on. DOMINOES is an R&D project focused on smart distribution grids, which based on a market-driven and customer-centric approach, intends to explore a new generation of operational models and services emerging from local demand response, energy and flexibility aggregation, advanced grid management, and peer-to-peer trading. The project is the result of a research and innovation action funded by the European Commission and targets mainly the design and validation of a framework for the development of local energy and flexibility markets. All started in 2017 with a consortium of 8 partners from 4 European countries, including 2 EDP business units, EDP New and EDP Distribuição. The partners involved are Empower, the project coordinator, and LUT, the Technical University of Lappeenranta from Finland, the University of Leicester from the United Kingdom, the University of Sevilla from Spain, and 2 other Portuguese partners, ISEP, o Instituto Superior de Engenharia do Porto, and VPS, Virtual Power Solutions company based in Coimbra. The total budget granted was 4 million euros, and the project activities will end in 2021. The main concept proposed addresses the implementation of a local marketplace to manage and value locally available energy and flexibility. On the left, we have an overview of typical interaction models for energy and flexibility exchange within a smart energy framework. The interactions between the stakeholders, as well as the connections with the upstream markets, are considered. Suppliers and aggregators through balance agreements and flexibility service contracts may interact directly with the balance responsible parties to close market trading or assume services to be provided to system operators, for example, which may use bilateral contracts to request flexibility. On the right, the DOMINOES concept adds the local marketplace to the equation, aiming to promote an environment where end users may benefit from a more direct link to the market, leveraging the value of their energy assets. So the local market operator manages the procurement from stakeholders at the distribution and transmission levels, and the offers available locally, provided by end users, aggregators, or community service providers. These last 2 can also aggregate energy and flexibility by themselves and participate in wholesale, balancing, and ancillary service markets. And that's it. These are the main interactions foreseen within DOMINOES scope that justified in the first place the need to further develop the local market concept presented. Now, I will also like to provide you a summary of the project's achievements and main results. Our ambition is aligned with concept proposed and, as mentioned, targets the development, test, and integration of the software modules required to implement services for active demand response and local energy and flexibility aggregation, mainly provided by renewable-based distributed energy resources, and tools that will establish the market mechanisms to manage the energy and flexibility bids and requests, process and validate all the transactions settled. I can also highlight the 6 business models designed, which are really focused on the end users and particularly on their active role when valuing their own resources at the market level. Moreover, the perspective of other stakeholders is also addressed, as the needs and interests that system operators, retailers, and other service providers may have in energy communities and local markets is also considered. Briefly, on the major outcomes expected. Probably the general framework and the tool set constitute the major results. But since Luisa Matos will be providing an overview of the platform and the tools integrated, I will just mention the 3 validation sites. So we will have 3 environments: microgrid testbed in LUT campus in Finland, a local community within a distribution grid environment in Évora, and a VPP involving commercial and office buildings across Portugal. I will now introduce Luisa Matos from VPS. She's one of our guests today and will present the main technologies involved. Welcome, Luisa.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation and for being the possibility to talk a little bit about the DOMINOES project and what we are doing here in terms of key services that we are developing and the enabling technologies that we are using. Okay, so to bring some light into how we are developing the services, we brought here our architecture, so the framework, the technical framework that we developed for DOMINOES project that shows all the digital enabled technologies. So from the bottom up, we have the smart metering infrastructure, so all the technology necessary to collect the data from the field, either directly from the meters or through external systems or platforms. So key technology involves also the issue of the interoperability for this system. On the middle layer, we see the modular service platform. So in terms of this platform, we divided also in 3 sub-layers. We can see the middleware, where of course we have the interconnections with the data source layer systems on the bottom. Then we have the middle one. It offers generic essential functionalities to the top layer. So all the modules that we have designed under the DOMINOES project to then develop the services on top of them. So we are talking about the wholesale markets module because there is an interaction, a possibility of interaction with upstream markets. We have, of course, the local market module where we are designing all the interactions with the local market participants. Then we have some further intelligence, let's say, modules that are the simulation and optimization modules, the analysis and forecast modules, and then the reporting one with some alerts that is exactly alerts and reports module. On top of this, so the final layer is the user interface layer, where we are looking at different interfaces depending on the stakeholder that we need to engage. We have the technical validator, so this is for the DSO portal. We have the manager, the market manager interface. So for the aggregator or the retailer, this is their portal. Then, of course, we have the end user, so the consumer, the prosumer apps, where they can interact with the market. And not so visible to all, but we need the back office to manage all the issues within the platform. In terms of key services, so we selected here a few relevant services that we developed under the DOMINOES project. The focus in terms of value creation, we can look into different layers of value creation. So either for the energy consumers and prosumers, this is a strong focus on for the project and the also business models that we developed. We need, of course, also to provide some value to the grid managers, system operators, and we can have the intermediary value for the energy community manager as well. In terms of overall objectives and outcomes from these services that we are presenting, we expect to have some reduction in terms of energy costs. So if we think about the end customer, sorry, also to also to support the system efficiency, so managing all the distributed assets across the local sites, so either the flexibility or the generation, to incentivize a further uptake of the renewable energy sources, and of course achieve the decarbonization goals. The selection of services, we highlight here the energy sharing in communities services, so we can provide the end customers and also the prosumers an access to a tool to the local market in order for them to buy or sell their energy. The local market has the possibility to manage all the data flows and register all the transactions from the market participants. From this, we can highlight the value coming from the distribution, the distributed energy resources, and a way to boost also the solar PV investments. So this is relevant also for third parties that are investing on these assets. A second service relates to the optimization of all the assets in terms of local communities. So by using the flexibility, we can help to reduce the overall costs of the energy at so for the participants of the local market, and thus enhancing the use of the local renewables. So this is also relevant. So this is another service that is relevant in terms of the distribution grid. So for the DSOs, the value that we can bring from the aggregation of the flexibility from these local market participants. So DSO can have visibility over the dispatchable assets in real time, or to be able to activate in the future by scheduling those dispatchable assets. DSO can actually also use incentive-based demand response services to participate in the market and procure the flexibility to solve any issue of the low and medium voltage grid, and so the constraints detected by the smart metering infrastructure. Finally, this is probably the most relevant one, and it's a very relevant in terms of success impact of the project, is the end user engagement services. So to have the possibility to extract all the value from this, we need the end customer, the consumer, the prosumer to participate. So services that will help them to engage actively in the platform are relevant, giving them the visibility over the data. For instance, with Benchmark, we are developing profiling and comparison approaches and methodologies to have that data for them. And also the mechanism to support their participations, decisions in the local energy marketplace by having a social matchmaking mechanism to help them participating on the peer-to-peer energy trading, and also the optimization mechanism to help them to organize and make available their own flexible services to the local market. So I pass the floor to Eduardo.
Thank you so much, Luisa. To conclude, and regarding next steps, the project is now entering in its final stage. The solutions are already tested and integrated. And during the next months, the implementation and validation of the use cases will happen. We expect to start to have some preliminary results by the beginning of next year. And upon the conclusion of all the project activities, the DOMINOES achievements will be disseminated in the last reports to be published. That's it. Thank you very much for your attention, and stay tuned to the upcoming news on the DOMINOES project. I will now pass the emission to my colleague Manel Pio, that will introduce you another project. Welcome, Manel.
Okay, thank you very much, Eduardo. It was very nice to hear from DOMINOES, which is very much in common with InteGrid. And I would like to salute to everyone, especially those that are listening to us and seeing us in mid-Europe, also in India. Welcome to this session. Now I'm going to pass to InteGrid. Though the project, as Gisela said, it's just ended some days ago. It was a great project, but you'll have opportunity to talk about this in the roundtable. And but now let's see what was InteGrid all about. Just a few words on this. So it was a big consortium, or at least for this kind of project, with 100, let's say. We had several stakeholders, but this was a big project, as you'll see when Andrea after me is going to present the big numbers. You'll see that how huge it was. But we had a 10 million, more or less, budget, and the project just ended some days ago. It was we had 14 partners all around Europe, as you can see in the map, and with three demonstrators, each one with a single focus. For instance, in Portugal, we were much focused on grid operation. In Slovenia, we had the aggregation and flexibility, and the focus in Sweden, which was the third demo, was very much on the clients. And so, but more than my words, maybe we can move to see what the project can say about itself. So, Eduardo, we'll move to see a little movie.
Can you imagine smart grids being human, with people increasing participation in the energy system management, developing the market, contributing for grid operation, and fostering new business models for a renewable powered world? This is the ambition of the InteGrid project. InteGrid's vision is to bridge the gap between citizens, technology, and solution providers, such as utilities, aggregators, manufacturers, and all other agents providing energy services, expanding from DSO distribution and access services to active market facilitation and system optimization services, while ensuring sustainability, security, and quality of supply. Interactive consumer, interconnected stakeholders, interoperable solutions, integration of renewables, and intelligent grid are the 5 vectors on which the project is based, with 3 main impact areas: grid market hub, grid management, customer engagement. The InteGrid project will develop tools for DSO's smart grid real-time monitoring and management, a framework for unlocking consumer flexibility, and a platform to facilitate market interaction. In this scenario, the consumer will be able to decide when and how to buy from the grid, whether to consume now, store, or even sell the energy he produces, thanks to intelligent home energy management systems and their integration with the grid. For this purpose, the demonstrators will be installed in 3 European cities. In Ljubljana, Slovenia, where we'll integrate existing DSO systems like advanced metering infrastructure, demand-responsive loads, virtual power plant, recharging station for electric vehicles, energy storage, and supervisory control and data acquisition into a holistic system. In Stockholm, Sweden, where the demonstrator has a particular emphasis on user engagement mechanisms with novel approaches and evaluation methods to overcome the household engagement barrier associated with the demand-side management programs. In Lisbon, Portugal, with the aim of fostering the management of the distribution grid in a new and more complex reality, combining new distributed energy resources with existing assets in a predictive and integrated way over a large-scale environment. InteGrid, bridging the gap between citizens, technology, and solution providers.
And so the project is bridging the gap between technology and users. And so we are users, and this is the most impressive thing about InteGrid for me. It's each one of us that is assisting to this session. It's part of this great world of energy, and we can participate. And InteGrid just proved this. I'm showing here the concept, and if you pay some attention to this diagram, you have here 4 parts. One, it's the physical world and the digital world, and the top one, it's the DSO. The DSO connects all these systems in the energy system itself. And so, what was our concept? It was to link this digital world with the physical world, providing also the participation of the consumers, the prosumers, and all the stakeholders that are related with the grid. So in the next slides, we'll see that the use cases that we have drawn in the InteGrid project were much focused on these 4 areas. And so we divided this in between grid operations that is related with the physical world of the DSO, the grid and market hub that is related not only with the DSO, but also with the stakeholders. And so it can connect everyone that is related with the energy system through the DSO systems. The grid operation where the users can participate, not only for residential users like ourselves, consumers or prosumers, but also industrial ones where they can provide flexibility and have an affordable way to use their let's say their assets for their proposals, and also for the grid itself. And finally, the energy services, where other kind of stakeholders, like for instance aggregators or VPPs, can participate, and so provide some kind of new services by linking this physical world with the digital world. And so a kind of new opportunities come here, and InteGrid has proved this, as Andrea is going to present just after me. So I'm just going to show in the next slide what was we figure out what is going to be the future of the DSOs. So the DSOs will merge this physical world with the digital world with the stakeholders. And so in the right side of the slide, you can see what digital services can the DSO itself provide. So it's going to have not only their data from their systems, but also consumer data. They can provide through a portal that is going to be the central part, and it was the center of the concept of InteGrid, this disruptive idea of having a grid and market hub. It is going to provide all the data, not only for the consumers, the prosumers themselves, the users, but the users can also give this access to their data to third parties. And so besides the users that are on the left side, we have also third parties, like 3 of them that were tested during the project. Ourselves, new R&D, that we provided a service for residential users, EDP commercial, that is going to be represented also in the roundtable, that provided a service that uses this kind of data for industrial services, and local life, which was, or at least is still a social energy network that provided some data for a community. And this all comes with a vision of a new platform that is going to change the way we see the DSOs nowadays. one can ask what is going to happen where there are more than one DSOs, but I'll leave this question to the roundtable if you want to pose it. Now I'm going to pass the floor to Andrea, and Andrea, our colleague from EDP Distribution, is going to explain a little bit what were the results in the project. Thank you, and see you.
Okay, thank you, Manel. Welcome, everybody. Hope everyone is safe in these strange times. I'm here to present and to elaborate more on some of the topics were already discussed by Manuel and shown in the video that Manel already put in the presentation. So InteGrid is really on bridging, like the tagline of the project, bridging the gap. We have all these participants of the electrical system, the stakeholders, the DSO, all this infrastructure, and putting them together is one of the key issues that InteGrid aimed to develop and to solve. Can we do it in a cost efficiency? After the project was concluded, we can ensure, and we have results to say and to state that we can do this in an efficient way, cost-efficient way, because the solutions and InteGrid has the particularity of trying to pick the best parts of previous European projects and to putting them together and putting them to work together and to evolve them to a next level, and picking all of these parts from Sensible, from Nice Grid, from all big projects, putting them together with in a single system, in a cost-efficient system. It's a big deal, and InteGrid aimed to solve that deal, and I can say that now, after almost 4 years of project, that we can prove it, that it can be done. We've dealt with high tech, many improvements, many hardware that were developed, apps to facilitate the engagement of clients, algorithms developed. We will see that even patents were issued to development of InteGrid, so it's a big deal. And of course, InteGrid will enable for the DSO to be in the center of this energy transition that it's occurring, and will help and facilitate this transition for everyone in the energy sector. In the next slide, we'll see some of the big numbers, some of the stakeholders and the participants to this big project. We've seen the budget numbers, but this slide aims to give you a real number or the big numbers on the stakeholders and the agents that were involved. These numbers is regarding all 3 demonstrations, is the total participants of the InteGrid project. So we had 7 facilities of water waste. We have 7 installations, 7 power plant installations, wind farms, renewable energies, 15 industrial facilities, 2 commercial buildings, 3 energy grid storage. That one, as I've stated before, was developed in the Sensible project. It was reused here in InteGrid. We have smart public lighting, 26 poles that were engaged in the project. Electrical vehicle stations were 6, and we have around 300 Ms that were managing residential PV, batteries, and smart appliances. All of these producing data that were then delivered to the GM Hub to be used for all the agents that were participating in this project, as well as the DSO to perform. Then I will present some of the the real innovations the project gave us. The first is the multi-period power flow, optimal power flow, which enabled a great deal in the medium voltage demonstrator in Portugal, in Slovenia. It's a power flow that uses forecasting of the loads and forecasting of the weather to determine which will be the optimal power flow in a multi-period time frame, ranging from 24 hours ahead to 1 hour ahead, with different certainty and precision. In this project, the multi-period power flow was used by the DSO for detecting 24 hours ahead what would be the flexibility that would be necessary to solve the grid constraints that should or will occur. And then within 1 hour ahead provision, also confirming that the forecasted values were correct and adjusting, making a fine adjustment on the flexibility and validating that need. Also, the forecasting for the low voltage and medium voltage grids were not only in the medium voltage but also for the low voltage. The next innovation is also from a technical perspective and an operational perspective to solve grid constraints, but this time more focused in the low voltage, which was this low voltage state estimator that aimed to get a real-time snapshot of the LV network without fully knowledge of the grid, because we cannot had during the InteGrid project all the data from all the points. So we had and been tested a tool that allows us to have a very good snapshot of the grid, not taking into account all the measurements in all the points. Lastly, from a more technical perspective, it was the energy optimization of a water waste power plant, which aimed to adjust the energy consumption of the water waste treatment plants that were engaged in the project, and were able to reduce their consumption, their power consumption. Lastly, in the innovations, we'll move more to a social innovation, which is the development of the local life social app, I can say, the energy social app, which aimed to bring all the customers and producers to one place for them to be able to manage better their energy and to respond to some requests from the DSO and some suggestions that the platform was providing, and making some kind of healthy competition for them to be able to reduce their consumption in a big way. Also, the platform for building consumption, flexibility aggregation, targeting auxiliary services in a way that a building has a whole, has an aggregator, could have a higher flexibility, that this higher flexibility could be used as an ancillary services to help the grid in the case of need. Next slide, I will present the big results of the InteGrid project, some big numbers. As you've seen already, we could divide InteGrid in 4 big vectors: grid operations, grid and market hub, grid users domain, and energy services domain. These results, this first result to your right, is regarding the grid operation domain. In high-level use case 1, we could solve all the medium voltage constraints by the use of flexibility, and we were able to reduce the losses from 6% to 12%, and 38% of the customers' complaints were reduced in the Slovenian demo. Regarding the use case 2, from the low voltage, we could reduce the frequency and magnitudes of voltage violations by 77% to 88% by using 15% of customer available flexibility. In use case 3, regarding exit health awareness, we could rise from 4 to 6 and dry transformers in failures between medium time between failures were reduced from 1,070 to 860, while maintenance costs were reduced up to 10%. Fault location integration in use case 4 were also reduced to reduce the support of SciFi were also reduced up to 9% and 99% in case of an failure and an outage in the demo area. Regarding the results of the grid and market hub domain, we can see, and this we are talking about grid and market hub and traffic light systems, which are provider of ancillary services. In the next step, we are talking about use case 5, 6, and 7. Use case 5, traffic lights, from 6 up to 48% of flexibility requests from external users would be blocked by TLS due to grid constraints. We can see that the requests of a TSO to DSO can be blocked up to 48% due to constraints in the distribution grid. Regarding use case 6, the grid and market hub customer satisfaction were between 77% and a success rate of 92%. And use case 7 provides us with 65% of commercial VPP and 40% of technical VPP of customers responded in 15 minutes to activation time, while the total amount of activated flexibility, was around 800 kilowatts for commercial VPP and around 1.2 megawatts in technical VPP. In technical VPP and 4.6 megawatts positive. That's the slash, the first. So sorry, just to clarify, the number in the left is positive flexibility. The number in the left, in the right, is negative flexibility. The first values for the technical VPP and the second values for the commercial VPP. Next, please. For grid users domain, water waste peak reduction was 40% and up to 75% of flexibility powers were succeeded. And HEMS induced an average peak reduction of 12% and up to 57% of self-consumption on residential customers with PV. Lastly, but not the least, energy services domain regarding level use cases 10, 11, and 12, we can obtain 23 kilowatts for at capacity participating in demand response, and a cumulative ancillary services market participation of around 900 kilowatt hour if regulation would allow it. Active house concept achieved a peak load of 5% and energy reduction of up to 16%. Local Live achieved around 6% of peak load reduction and an energy use reduction of around 5%. Lastly, the use case 12 bit to flexibility ratio ranging from 74 up to 95, showing accuracy of forecasting algorithms. So this is big numbers. We have lots of use cases. It was a big project. This is just the main numbers. I also invite you to see more detailed numbers in the presentation, but Next, it's not a project or a big project if we could not provide a good CBI and SRA approach, or I could say we have to make sure our cost benefits are really are stated and they show good results for the project to be considered a success. And also the replicability and scalability is also an important factor to take into account. This is they are common drivers asked for the European Commissions for all the projects, but they are a real big item in the InteGrid, because the scalability and replicability in InteGrid were a major focus. That's why we have major and multiple geographies, and we tested the tools in different locations to see if different grids, different frameworks, regulatory frameworks would allow the tools to be successful and to be scalable and replicable in all these different environments. And we can say that the main conclusions are that the tools are generally scalable and have a replication potential, even though to small details, but they are generally replicable. The cost-benefit analysis also allow us to ensure and to indicate that a significant number of use cases already proved to be near or already achieved the positive cost-benefit, which puts them in place to be implemented and to be rolled out to the grid. Next, I would like to show just to discuss here some of the frameworks that were like regulatory frameworks that were also taken into account. This is a new and relatively new, and there is not many regulatory framework already existent, and the InteGrid, it's like a baseline for it to be created, a common framework for the flexibility market. So 3 main issues were taken into account: a flexibility-based operation, bridging the gap between citizens and energy markets, and active participation of the EU citizens in an efficient use of energy. We can go for the flexibility pillar to cost-reflective networks, to local flexibility mechanisms, to remove the CapEx bias in the SO revenue regulation, and also the distribution planning considering flexibility and not in a peak load point of view or planning. Bridging the gap, we can pick the balancing market rules for the ER participation and facilitating the development of aggregators, and engaging participation in fostering efficient renewable self-generation, taking into account electricity tariffs that promote an efficient use of energy, and providing a clear framework for metering data access and management. Lastly, but not the least, some of the big numbers, and it's kind of the legacy of this project to the future. We can see after these 4 years, we can count with 4 peer-reviewed journal papers in 24 conference papers. We have been there has been many participations in conference, publications, press releases, 4 bridge initiative groups with InteGrid projects. It allowed 2 PhDs, 1 licentiate, 4 masters, and 2 postdocs. A lot of activities in social media, and website users, and web page viewers. 3 hardware tools that were developed, and it's already ready for commercial implementation, or at least almost ready, as well as 13 software tools in the same position. two patents, one for a power converter and one for a method and device for controlling water waste tank pumping system. We leave 51 deliverables. We organized 2 conferences and 11 workshops to make sure everything is well planned and well taken care of. And not the least, this could not be done without many people participating and helping getting this project finished. And we had more than 300 people with their hands on the project and more than 2,000 stakeholders from all the partners and organizations. Then I'll pass back to you, Manuel, to see where we are going.
Yes, and we are going to the future. Going back to the future here, this is a slide. This is not a playground, and but I'm going just to give you some words and some hints on how to use this slide in the future, especially for you that are involved in future projects. This is a legacy from InteGrid, and it's the roadmap that we are sharing with you, how you should take on scalability and replicability. Namely, if you go for the functional, for the ICT, the economical and the regulatory that Andrea just explained, I'm going just to give you an overview on this. For instance, if you want to let's say to access the replicability, of your functional system, let's say you start in the left up corner. You have the start there, and then you go through the diagram, and you'll get to the right conclusion if your system can be replicable or not. You can do the same for economical and regulatory, and this is a good tool that that came from InteGrid, and you can use this on your future projects. So, but most of all, if you can access what were the deliverables of this InteGrid project, you can take much of what was our experience and lead to the future projects, what can be implemented there. So I'm going to move to the next slide and just give you some of the thanks from the team. So this is part of the team, and on behalf of them, I want to thank you for being here in this presentation. On behalf of these more than 300 people that were here, not all are in the pictures, but I'm going to state here something that Ricardo and André can also talk about in the round table. InteGrid is about to publish a project book with all the conclusions that we have been stating here and much more, because the project is huge. And you can assess this project book in the future edition that is about to come. And meanwhile, while you are waiting for this project book, you can access the side project that is still up, and see there many of the conclusions and the deliverables that we've been sharing with people during these 4 years of project. And so, thank you very much. By the way, Andrea, I don't know if you have found where you were. Wally is not in the picture, but you are. And also Ricardo, André, and Pedro Coimbra Costa that are going to be in the round table. So I'm going to pass now to Gisela, and thank you for your attention. Okay, bye.
Thank you so much, Manuel. Thank you, Eduardo, Luisa, and André for your great presentation about DOMINOES and InteGrid. Well, InteGrid, in fact, has a lot of interesting results, very impressive. Actually, we also look forward to learn from the results of DOMINOES project. So let's move for the second part of our session today. And before that, I would like to remind the audience that you can leave your questions on the Q&A. So feel free to provide all your doubts, suggestions, and what you want to say to us on the Q&A. So, as we all know, the increasing penetration of renewables whose production is intermittent and less predictable by its nature, the possibility to have other distributed energy resources connected to the grid, the widespread uses of electrical vehicles, together with more active consumers and prosumers who are requiring a more effective role in managing their energy, are bringing forward new challenges for the energy system, which is getting more distributed and complex. Therefore, the traditional centralized approach, where the generation follows the load in one directional way, is no longer adequate. These are just some reasons why smart grids enter to play. It is necessary to ensure the grid balancing with power flows in multiple directions and manage the grid in a more efficient and accurate and also smarter way. But to make the grid smarter, we need digital technologies, sensing the distribution lines, computers, automation, and all the equipments have to work together to manage and operate the grid in real time. There are several definitions for smart grids. The European Union defines smart grids as an electricity network that can intelligently integrate the actions from all actors connected to it, either operators of storage capacity, generators, consumers, prosumers, in order to efficiently deliverable, sustainable, economic, and secure electricity supplies. Therefore, smart grids are not all about technologies. They are also about customers, I would say smart customers, and provide them with the right information and tools to make choice about their energy use. For instance, clients have the possibility to know their energy consumption at all time, when and where they are using their energy, and the related costs. Moreover, the real-time pricing will allow the customers to consume less energy when it is more expensive. On the other hand, clients can be seen as flexibility providers who can participate on demand response schemes to support the grid operators and retailers on their daily business. So, to further discuss the benefits for clients on the smart grid context and how they can support the grid, I am pleased to introduce of today's roundtable. So, ladies first, let's start with Luisa. Luisa is the CEO of Virtual Power Solutions, VPS. She's also Chief Innovation Officer of CleanWatts, with more than 15 years of experience in the fields of smart cities, smart grids, smart homes, demand response, and so many other fields. She has a degree in economics, a master's degree in innovation management, an MBA, and she's also a PhD, finalizing her PhD on strategy with research work on business models, innovation, and digital transformation in power companies. Luisa, what an impressive CV! It's a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you for accepting our invitation. My second guest is Ricardo Mendes André. He holds a master's degree in electrical and computer engineer from Instituto Superior Técnico, Universidade Técnica de Coimbra, de Lisboa, sorry. He has been working at EDP for 13 years, namely at EDP Produção, EDP New, EDP Lablec, and EDP Distribution. Since 2019, he's working at the Direção de Projetos e Políticas Europeias at EDP Distribução, and he's the coordinator of InteGrid project. Ricardo, it's also a pleasure to have you with you today, since you worked in our team before, so welcome. My last guest is Pedro Coimbra Costa. He's the head of business-to-business product development at EDP Commercial. He coordinates the development of solutions for the future of electrical sector with specific focus on those address the energy transition. Before entering the power sector, Pedro did research in energy for mobility with emphasis on batteries for electric cars, and their vehicle-to-grid capabilities, having published several papers. So thank you so much, Pedro. It's also great to have you in our roundtable. We've been collaborating in several projects, so it's also interesting to have your views here today. So I think I have prepared several questions for you. So I think my first question will be for Ricardo André. Ricardo, DOMINOES, as Eduardo explained, is entering on the validation phase. InteGrid is finished. So as we can learn today, some of the tools were oriented to solve the DSO challenges on managing the grid. But we can argue that both projects are client-oriented on their proposing solutions as well. So it seems that it was really an intention from EDP Distribuição to develop these R&D projects focused on the client. Could you elaborate a bit more why involvement of clients is so important for the DSO business? And I would like also to know whether this continues to be a strategy for EDPD for the next projects on smart grids.
Okay, thank you very much, Gisela. So first of all, thank you very much also for the question and for the invite to be here. It's a great honor to be here participating in these R&D sessions, and congratulations to New R&D for developing these sessions where we have the opportunity to exchange some thoughts on the R&D sector, especially in the energy domain where EDP Group is deeply involved. So just before going to the answer to your question, just two statements or two baselines that we have to consider. First, we have to consider that the electricity is, as today and based on renewables, the cleanest, safer, and most efficient energy vector that humankind has developed. So this is the first assumption. And second, what is the DSO key mission? DSOs are here not to just operate the grids, but more than that, to deliver the electricity to the end users with high quality and high reliability. So these two assumptions are the basis to my answers. And why we are doing this? Because electricity is key to support the economic development of our society and is key to support people comfort, either for public lighting, heating, whatever. So as today, I would say that no one in the audience or in the world could imagine a day without electricity. How could we live? How could we cook? How could we have access to the internet, to our cell phones, and so on? So if in one hand, the future is electrical, for sure, and this is clear. In the other hand, the customer is the core and the motivation of the DSO mission. So the grids are made for customers, not just to deliver copper and wiring through the countries. And customers are the core customers and the core stakeholders of the European Union policies that are being developed and are the key stakeholders of the electricity grid. So when key buzzwords like energy transitions that we are dealing now in the European Union, these will only be successful if it is customer-centric. There is no way to go over to the energy transition without the participation of the customers. We have been doing a long work on this since previous projects, as was described in previous presentations, in InteGrid in a more focused way. Some numbers I have to share. When we look to the awareness, environmental and social welfare awareness of the customers in InteGrid, through some surveys, we can see that these, let's say, the awareness of the customers on these domains were increased from 40 to some cases 80%, which means that we are explaining to the people why the management of their electricity is key, either for the price they pay each month for this good, but for the society progress as well. Andrea explained very well some findings and some results that we achieved in InteGrid, namely the flexibility-based grid operation. There are a lot of projects and trends on the world working on this. So InteGrid already achieved results on this. We have let's say the final validation that is key for the future of grid operation to have these concepts on our hands. But can you answer where is the flexibility if the customers are not willing to participate during in InteGrid? So we passed the pandemic stage, and before March we are doing some trials where we activate some flexibility from customers, where they switch on or off some loads, where wind farms switch off some generation, so that they could participate in grid operation. Well, and what about after COVID, when factories were closed, when you send a DSM signal so that they can switch off their loads? Okay, factories are closed. When can they do? If you have customers in house, the load consumption profiles change a lot. So there is no way to go through energy transition without a participation of distribution grid customers. So this is let's say, on these two trends. So I try to explain why we have been working with too much closer with customers, and we will keep doing this on the upcoming projects.
Yes, indeed, you are very right. We really need to involve our clients on this energy transition. So my second question is for Pedro Coimbra Costa from EDP Commercial. So Pedro, DOMINOES is investigating the framework for local energy markets, local energy and flexibility markets, where exchanges of energy and flexibility between consumers and other stakeholders like DSOs, aggregators, retailers, and also between consumers are taking place. Therefore, there's an opportunity for retailers to take advantage of the local flexibility for your portfolio optimization and create new business models focused on these local markets. But on the other hand, there's also a competition for that flexibility among all the market participants, which I mentioned that introduce an extra level of complexity on managing your customers. So having said that, do you think that local markets represents a threat or an opportunity for the retailers?
Hi, Gisela. Hi, everyone. Thanks
Hi.
for the invite to participate in the talk. It's absolutely an opportunity. Local energy communities will be a key cornerstone of client relationship between retailers and customers. EDP Commercial itself is already preparing and already has an offer on local energy communities, on solar and local energy communities, called Bairro Solar. You can check it up on our website, where you can, or solar neighborhood, where you can create a solar neighborhood, so we can build a local energy community in an area. Okay, so we are currently working on this stream, and we will be working on it extensively through 2021, not only on solar, but also on batteries. And so it's really a key component, because it opens up the market for customers that to a certain degree weren't able to participate in some parts of renewable energy, on decentralized renewable energy.
Okay, very good. It's really nice to hear that EDP Commercial is very interested in this topic of local markets, and see that you are also actually providing some possibilities for the topic for your clients with this solar neighborhood. So my third question is for Luisa from PPS. So Luisa, I would like to know from your experience on these projects, InteGrid and DOMINOES, and others that you have been participate. What are the main features of tech tools that are more important to empower the client to participate in local markets and on demand response programs, bridging the client with the smart grids?
Okay, thank you, Gisela. So maybe just a brief introduction about the VPS.
Sure.
Just to explain a little bit about our focus. So we are quite committed in simplifying, amplifying, and accelerating the energy decarbonization for the companies and communities around the world. So we have a broader focus as well. So especially we focus on two main vectors that drive energy decarbonization for our clients, energy efficiency and access to affordable clean energy. So because of this, we have been quite engaged with projects, innovation projects. We have been working with energy communities, even in a moment or like 10 years ago, where people weren't talking about energy communities, we already were involved in several projects, validating first all the IoT platforms, the technologies, going through the business models, analyzing also recently the social impact and value creation in terms of social value creation as well, not just economic value. So we have been able to work with several end customers, testing the technologies with them. So when we think about the tech tools to empower, the main features to empower end customer and client, some features came to my mind. So of course, the most obvious one, it relates to the interaction with the end customer, of course. So looking at the easiness of the use of the technology, so the way that we interact with them, it has to be very simple for them to participate in any action, any project or product that we are putting there. So looking at all the usability and user experience that we can provide. It needs also features that enables a good adaptability to the end customer profile. And when we think about this, it's not just the physical characteristics of the client's assets or home or building or equipment, etc., but it's also his profile on how he's participating. So we know that we have people that are more keen to engage with technology and see all the functionalities and details and everything that they can do with the tool. And we have others that they want to have the reassurance that they have a system that is helping them to be more efficient, to help reduce the carbon emissions, to save money, but they don't want to interact too much. So we have to be aware that we have different kinds of profiles. So this is important when we are designing all the features. Then, of course, all the features related to accuracy and quality of the data that we need to bring to a tool, and then the content. So choosing wisely the content that can engage and attract the end customer is important. So thinking about having benchmark comparisons, people will see how they are doing compared with someone with a similar profile, having also access to information about their earnings, their savings, even then with some reward schemes that we can bring. So all of these this, it's relevant to attract and to give more power to the end customers. So this is in terms of interactions with the end users. Then on the back end, on the back office, we need to look into also in how to simplify the technology itself in a way that we can also lower the costs related to the technology to enable this and the user participation, because it has to be viable economically. So it has to be simple to install, simple to maintain. So keeping the costs low to make sure that that this can happen and can be a business. And the final one, when we think about these tech tools, it's also not to think just about one specific country, one specific legal framework or physical condition of a specific country, but we need to address also the flexibility of the platform to address different needs of different legal frameworks and different business models that we can include. So this would be the main features that we would propose here.
Yeah, and we also talk in the DOMINOES and InteGrid about having apps for the clients. I think this will be also an interesting option, right?
Exactly. So the interaction and make it very easy for the end customer.
Okay, thank you. So for my second round of questions, I have actually one question for all of you. I would like to know, now that looking for the long term of the smart grids developments and all the challenges that we are facing, and for now I would like to ask Ricardo André. Now looking for the long term of smart grids development and the DSO challenge that you can anticipate, of which some of them are already identified in your technological roadmap for 2030. Taking into account that the next financing program from the European Commission is being designed, the Horizon Europe, if you were given the possibility to write some calls by your own, with your colleagues from EDP Distribution and other DSOs, what will be the R&D topics of interest related with smart grids of the future that the DSOs would like to investigate?
Okay, thank you for the question, Giselle. So just here first topic. So more than looking for projects and calls, so EDP Distribution has already defined what we called our technology development roadmap. Okay, so more than looking for projects, everything we will do must be aligned with European Union policies and trends. It must be aligned with the sector trends and needs, and it must solve any needs that we have today. And when I say we, EDP Distribution and the distribution grid as well. So more than looking for this project, we are looking for funding opportunities to help us to move on with this development roadmap that we elected. And what is this development roadmap? So it is aligned within 6 drivers. So going from the customers, municipalities, and market interaction, where we have topics like the DSO rule as a market enabler and the DSO rule as an energy data supplier. We have a second driver on grid planning and asset management, which includes the use of flexibility mechanisms for distribution grid planning, and while ensuring any needs in terms of CapEx and OpEx to develop the distribution grid. Also, a proper performance in terms of the distribution grid itself and the risk management for its operation. So in terms of a third driver, so the grid management itself, where flexibility-based grid operation concepts and capabilities must be developed and improve the grid monitoring on all levels, from the high voltage, medium voltage, and by-end low voltage. The grid operations, where the workforce management concepts must be developed, and we have already identified some needs. The advanced smart grid-based operation. How can we improve the operations of our teams in order to have a better performance? A fifth driver on innovative grid technologies, going from advanced public lighting technologies to increase resilience and capacity for response to extreme events. A last but not least driver on digital platform, where cybersecurity, connectivity, and digital transformation technologies must be included in our systems. So we have a wide range of topics, as I described here. So it would be impossible to let's say to draft just one call. I would say that there will be dozens of opportunities, and since they match these drivers, of course, the DSOs in Europe and EDP distribution will be willing to participate on it, as we have been doing in the past for more than 10 years until now.
Okay, thank you very much. There's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of work ahead us to further improve this the smart grids of the future, and also focus on the client. Thank you very much, Ricardo. So my second question is for Pedro Coimbra Costa. So also in line with this one. So we are witnessing the rollout of smart meters and deployment of smart grids, which could provide the retailers and other stakeholders, of course, with more information about clients' consumption and generation in case of small producers, and unleash the provision of new service tailored to the clients. So EDP Commercial is already developing their own solutions, such the second version of Ready, and also the non-intrusive load monitoring. So you are already working on this topic. So now the same question. Imagine that you have the opportunity for design some calls for the next financing program from the European Commission. What will be the R&D topics of interest related with smart grids of the future and the role of the customers that retailers would like to be investigated?
Sure. I think the latest projects we've been doing, both in InteGrid, for example, and other projects, though client focused, have had a high focus on tools and technology. And this could be the retailer in me speaking, but I think we are forgetting part of the and it's the path. It's a natural path to do first the technology, but I think now we need to address what's the business models, what's the business value, how do we deliver value to customers, and I think the next set of projects that come out of the New Horizon should answer this sort of question, should be customer-centric on value. So I don't have any magic ball on how to do that, okay? So, but I think the technology is there. I think the will is there. I think now it's a matter of how do we package it. Because we can have the greatest tools in the world, we could have the greatest apps in the world, and they don't survive a market. So I think the test now is that how do we package smart grids, the value that we get from smart grids into value for customers. I think that's the big answer to that.
Yes, good point. Thank you. So last question for Luisa, also in line with the topic of how would be the the next R&D topics that you would like to investigate in the future from a company like VPS that are connected with the smart grids and the tools to engage the clients and empower the clients to participate in this service that we are develop here in DOMINOES and InteGrid. What will be the next?
Very quickly, we have been working a lot in terms of ICT technologies, digital technologies, digital tools. This will continue to be one key focus for us, either looking at having more efficient systems and also including more novelty on the systems in a way that it will provide us with data quality, data security, data reliability that's relevant as a basis of the business. Then on top of this, we need also to continue work on all the issues of interoperability because we need to make sure that the market is open to many players. We can't be working alone and provide the overall solution, so we need to be complementary with others, and this is important for us, and I believe for all the technology players in the market. Also to help lower the costs of the implementation and continue to use like legacy equipment, legacy systems. This is relevant to make things happen in terms of smart grids. And of course, in the line of what has been said, all the need to look into end user engagement, so how we can attract and activate interest in the end user, combined with the adequate business model that can be different depending on the segment, depending on the geography. So we have here many opportunities to innovate, to bring value and share the value among all the stakeholders in a smart grid. So that's the challenge.
Yes, that's right. Thank you so much. So we are running out of time, but I think we still have some time to answer some questions for the audience. So I think I have here one for Pedro Coimbra Costa. So it's how will EDP Commercial use the client's data to sell flexibility? I think it has to be about if you are going to use data from your service, or if you are going to use data from the DSO, as we can see, as we could see on the InteGrid project, that we have several services also available for you.
Yeah, sure. This question can be interpreted in a lot of ways.
Yeah, actually.
So EDP Commercial is looking very seriously at flexibility. We actually just recently last year, end of 2018, sorry, we bought the participation in an Irish company that focus on flexibility, and we are looking into it in how in our main markets, be it Portugal, Spain, Italy, Poland, how we can add flexibility to the value we add to our customers. So this is central, and we believe that it is, and if it's not right now, but it's going to be central to our value offer. Right now in Portugal, there have been a couple of trial runs, a couple of tests done by the regulator, where we have a strong participation. So, and here data is going to be key. Data from customers is going to be key, not only to model the flexibility that customers have, but also to because a retailer in himself as dual value for flexibility. It can use it for imbalance management of its own wallet, client wallet, and is a representative of customers in front of the electrical system. So this is sort of the way we're looking at it. The regulation in Portugal and in Spain are not quite there yet, but they are moving, and we'll be very, very keen to participate in flexibility markets in the near future. 2021 will also be a year where we're going to, for sure, to be talking a lot about flexibility in our native markets.
Okay, we look forward to hear from news from your side. So I also have another question. Let me check. It's also for Pedro Coimbra Costa. So with the recent step decline on the batteries costs and the accelerating pace on machine learning prediction performance, which technologies do you think will have more impact on demand response area? AI or batteries?
It's a trick question. I think a machine learning will absolutely play a key role on managing flexibility, managing multiple client flexibility. So when you're managing 200 customers, 200 assets on the field that are distributed and you can switch on, switch off, machine learning will be key, but batteries in themselves will be also a key enabler, because everybody wants to participate with flexibility in the market, want to have the benefits of the flexibility, but they really don't want to stop using their lights or their ovens or their TV or their ovens in the case of an industry. So I think there is room and for flexibility and inflexibility, particularly for both AI and batteries, and that's sort of the business model that we're actually looking for, because batteries bring capability that allow a customer installation that has some flexibility. If you add a battery, even if it's a small battery, you multiply by 10 the capabilities of that whole asset capabilities in terms of participation in different markets. You can now do frequency regulation. You can do a lot of other system services that you can do with a battery that you couldn't do without it. So both AI and batteries are going to be a key components of the future of the electrical grid and the value offer that EDP Commercial is preparing, and particularly batteries. I can tell you that to 2021 we will be addressing batteries for our own markets, and because we believe that the market is there and the technology is there, and it's time for a rollout of a standardized solution for the market.
Yes, thank you. I think it's hard to just pick one. Okay, I think we are over the time, but I think I'm going to ask last question. So I think it's for André Neves. Are any of the tools validated in the InteGrid open source and available to build on developed?
Hello, Gisela, and
Hi.
thanks for the question. From my knowledge, and I don't know every tool and
Every single
the ownership of that tools. I believe not. They are not open sourced and not open to be developed upon. But I will have to check if there are any, if there are none, and have to reply that question afterwards. I'm sorry not being able to give a final answer right now. From my knowledge, I don't recall, but I'm not sure.
Okay, no worries. So it's all from my side. I would like to thank you all, especially my guests, and also all the presenters, and thank you also all of you that attend this session. I think it was really interesting to learn more about client-centric smart grids. I think we really understand that it's impossible to build the futures without the clients participating actively on managing helping us on managing all the energy system. So I don't know if Alexandre, do you want to say something before closing this session?
Yeah, I want to thank you, Gisela, for organizing this session and for this very interesting panel. Also thank all our guests and the audience for participating. I also wanted to remind you that in 2 weeks we'll have a next session. The next one will be about a very trendy subject, which is green hydrogen, and what are the initiatives that we are working on along with the other EDP business units and partners. So we'll have some interesting guests. So put it in your agenda in 2 weeks at the same time, same place. And see you, and thank you very much. Bye bye.